Right, hello, welcome to Content Creators Blackpool. My name's Jed Mills and with me, Head of Content, Brad Patiso. Now, we talked a little bit in a few videos before on video marketing and kind of our tips and where we think video will go in 2024. Now, on the back of that, we've had so many inquiries about TikTok. And it's weird because I think in pandemic, obviously TikTok was humongous in terms of video, and then started to get metas in Facebook, Instagram, everything sort of going, oh, we need to start looking at video because people are loving this video stuff. And it just means video means people stay on platforms longer. So therefore it's better for that platform. It's better for, say, businesses to advertise on there. So hence why everyone was jumping on video. And then I think last year we saw a bit of a switch. So, you know, I know Facebook and Instagram certainly were looking at going, well, it's not all about the video. Don't forget about great pictures, great graphics. So don't forget about that. So, and LinkedIn's always been a bit funny with video. It has this love-hate relationship where it'll go, yeah, give us all your videos, and then it'll go, oh no, and video just does horribly on LinkedIn. Now they seem to have quite a nice little balance. Same as Facebook and Meta and Instagram. But where we are right now is people coming to us through the door, inquiring about content. So we get asked all the time about making content for them, video content, website content, and we do an all-round package. But what we're seeing is TikTok all the time for loads of different industries. People are coming to us saying we need to be on this platform, and it's the one thing we're hearing big time. So Brad, we wanted just to deep dive a little bit into the platform, and I suppose, why is TikTok becoming such a big driver in terms of, I suppose, advertising people's businesses?
So the first thing I went to look at when I thought I'd do a bit of research for this episode, TikTok actually has a web page called TikTok What's New.
Okay.
And it's basically a way of telling people this is what's working on our platform, this is what's relevant, and here's the statistics to go with it.
Very
so
good.
According to the early 2024 one, users are 1.8 times more likely to agree that topics introduced to them, new topics that they didn't know they already liked, they're more likely to agree with, or more likely to take an interest with, than in any other way of like consuming that content. And I've actually made a couple of examples. Now this one obviously isn't as recent. We had Francis Bourgeois, I don't know if you remember him, the train guy with the GoPro, yeah. So just looking at his impressions straight away, 3.1 million followers.
Right.
Obviously, he's now gone on to sort of become a little bit of a TV star. He had a Channel 4 show, I'm pretty sure. 68.7 million likes.
Wow.
And it's just a lad who
has a GoPro on his head.
GoPro his head, goes and watches trains.
Yeah.
And obviously since then, he's sort of got brand deals with TfL and they're taking him on decommissioned trains and stuff. But it's just started from a passion for trains.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's an audience for that. But I bet half of that audience isn't necessarily watching it because of trains. They're watching it because it's someone that's showing an interest in something. And it's sort of like that passion or that interest is interesting to other people from an outside perspective as well. Another example, the other one I've written down, I actually follow this guy called Dr. Alex, and he's a chiropractor in America. And he just does chiropractor videos.
Was in cracking people's
Yeah, and he'll have like a little lapel mic, the actual microphone block.
Yeah.
And he'll click it to like the right of my clothing. And then he has like his patented, like the hug it's called, and he will like click the neck. And he gets different people on, he gets a couple of TikTokers, like army veterans, different people from all walks of life. And they'll talk a little bit, this is what I do, I've travelled from wherever. And then he does like, chiropractor. And like I've not got a personal massively vested interest in chiropractors, but I'll sit and watch them.
Yeah. So it's I suppose it's trying to, we always say, don't we, if you love your business, that passion will come out. So, you know, even like, I see people struggle with, you know, say they're in a service-based industry. So like if they do mortgages or accountancies, and most of your job is just at a computer looking at figures all day, you know, you're going to be thinking, well, what is interesting about this? But as we know, we work with Chris at Director First, and check his TikTok content out, Director First. Just check it out. That's all I'm going to say to you, because he is in an insolvency-based business, which is all about, obviously businesses liquidating and closing down and shutting down, sometimes for the need or sometimes, in not great circumstances. But the way he does his TikToks and the way we've been able to create them is it becomes engaging, it becomes interesting, because if you're not interested in liquidating your business or becoming insolvent, it's not for you. So that's fine. But there might be that down the road, 3 years down the road. And remember, this video content and TikTok especially, it's like your feed. So yes, someone might not need your business right now. Someone might not need a mortgage right now. Someone might not need an accountant right now. But as long as you're creating that content, that when they do come to need it, you are popping up. And obviously you're growing an audience every single time, so you're popping up. One thing that we've found massively in terms of TikTok is your titles, on the graphics of TikToks. So having the TikTok standard and putting it in bold, okay? So when you're writing a title on your TikToks, and it'll say select cover, sometimes you can select like a piece of the video. Like most people go, where do I look the best? As in smiling. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Just put, you need a title, and it'll be standard in bold. Okay? We see that is working all the time. Another thing that works really well is, and we've changed, right? Because it was the other way around. So it was like where you had all the fancy, green writing, yellow writing, and we're doing it right now. It's on our videos right now on TikTok, which you're probably seeing this right now, where all the big writing comes up and subtitling. We used to put music underneath because that used to work. Then we did some tests without music, under voice, and that's working better. Okay, so if you've got a vocal on your TikToks, don't put anything underneath. Don't put any music underneath. Now, that's us finding those little
every
tests.
single case is completely different. So I was talking to Luke downstairs. I've more recently got him into TikTok. He's always had an account, but he's never really had like a vested interest in scrolling all day. And he's just discovered something that sort of became a big thing last year, maybe a little bit in 2022. It started out where people were basically pirating films and putting them on, and at the bottom half would be Subway Surfer or some kind of phone-based game, as a way of keeping an interest in whatever the person's talking about, because you watch the game and you're listening to whatever they're saying. And then people sort of started to parody and pastiche that. So I follow a lot of different filmmakers on TikTok, and some will upload short clips, like a little snippet of their latest film, with a Subway Surfer bottom half on, and there's like standard, and the standard songs that they'll use underneath that people use when they upload. Like there's a TV show, American TV show called The Rookie. Right. People rip that off all the time. It always comes up on my TikTok, and it always has this same song underneath it. That like when you hear that song, you go, "Oh, this will be a snippet from a TV show," and you instantaneously know that you're going to be watching a segment from a show. Right. And people now, though, have sort of reached its end user, and you can look at something called Clay Shirky, who's a theorist, who basically talks about the commercialization of the internet and how we've reached the end of Internet 2.0, and we've entered this future of technology, and now it is an end-to-end user. It's that one user will find content and will share it, and so it's globalized, as opposed to just being Googling a question and getting the answer. We now share between us. There's no longer a start user and an end user. Clay Shirky suggests that it's shareable. The internet is shareable, and that's how people have learned to commercialize the internet and monetize what they put out there, by understanding that it will be shared between different people. So it's like we're saying about, you could put, Chris is a great example with Direct to First. 85% of people might not need to know about insolvency, but someone might watch it. Chris has got quite a good character as well, and will watch Chris and go, he's quite funny. Look, this guy pretends to hit his head off a table. And they might send it to 5 people, and they might send it to 5 people, and one of them might go, actually, I'm in a position where I need to know about a winding up petition, C-bills loan, whatever it is Chris is talking about. And then he, therefore, has commercialised his TikTok, has monetised his TikTok. Right, okay. And so it's about understanding that you're not necessarily making a TikTok that will go directly to your end user. Okay, so it's not you're
you're thinking about your specific audience as well.
Yeah, so
It's more about thinking of an audience where it can just be shared,
Yeah.
because then the 10th person down that shareable line may need that service, who wouldn't potentially be looking at you.
Yeah, and it goes back to this 1.8 users saying that they're more likely to agree. They don't necessarily have to have a direct interest in the topic you're talking about. People do, like, I watch them and I have no interest in it. People do like day in the life of a financier, and it's like, got up, went to the gym, had my coffee, did my work, went to the pub, had a pint. There's a guy on TikTok called Mr. Bruv, and literally he just uploads slideshows of photos of what he's been up to, and it'll have like coffee shop music behind it or like elevator music behind it, and he does millions of views.
Right.
Just talking about what like that's a really, really big set format at the minute on TikTok.
Yeah, so day in life.
Photo slideshows of your day in the life, and also video like a vlog basically.
Yeah.
And then you commentate over it afterwards, and you commentate on what you've already done.
Yeah.
And that's quite a big format at the minute.
So that's really working. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sort of daily kind of vlogging, if you will, but little short snaps. So get your phone out, you go into the car, and then you open the office door, you make your morning brew, you then start maybe a phone client with a client, you might be doing some emails. Just basically log all that information down in a bit of a kind of a diary.
Yeah, exactly.
Video, but also we talk about repurposing content. TikTok really likes repurposing. So, for example, this video that we do, we could maybe repurpose some of this in different forms of content, 3 months down the line, so we can repurpose it. So if you also do those daily, like sort of vlog video type style with the voiceover afterwards, if you take a picture each time you do it, then that can be your repurposed content as well. So maybe you do a video of it, then you do the stills of it, maybe a week later at a different time as well. And testing, see which one's working best for you. One might work unbelievably well.
And 10 could do 50 views.
They could,
and you think this isn't working. And then the 11th one, you could use the right, if it's a photo slideshow, you use the right song.
Yeah.
There's just a particular photo. It can be something as simple as TikTok really likes one of the photos you've used.
Yeah.
And it will just absolutely skyrocket.
Yeah.
Or it could be you could hit a certain trigger word if you're talking over your content.
Yeah.
Or you might make a coffee and you use the hashtag espresso. And for whatever reason that day, people are talking about espressos. Obviously, last night, at the time of recording this, was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
SpongeBob is massive. So SpongeBob obviously isn't the main focus of the Super Bowl.
No.
It's obviously the Super Bowl itself. Travis Trill and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And obviously Usher with the halftime show. However, Nickelodeon did their own coverage of the Super Bowl.
Right.
And they had SpongeBob and Patrick Star in the commentary box talking, and they had Sandy on the actual like pitch, doing like coverage between different games and different things like that. And overnight, SpongeBob is everywhere. SpongeBob's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and it wasn't even the primary conversation at the time the Super Bowl was on. People afterwards have gone, "Did you see what was happening on Nickelodeon while the Super Bowl's on?" And all of a sudden, TikTok is just filled with SpongeBob again.
Okay, so there you go. So again, not using kind of what the primary audience is, but it's a bit of a spin-off.
Yeah,
to what
it's a secondary audience essentially, and it's found its secondary audience.
Okay,
and it's just worked.
So there you go. So also, like I say, just summing up, testing is massive on TikTok. TikTok loves to be tested in terms of everything that you do. What Brad was saying there about pictures, it was all about videos, wasn't it? TikTok, but you're right, pictures. Little like sort of slideshows of pictures with you talking over the pictures is performing really well. These daily little vlogs about like a bit of sort of a Big Brother diary style, isn't it? Again, talking over them, working really well. Cut out your music underneath when you are talking on some content that you're doing. Have a test of that. Just see how that's working for you. It might not do as well, but we're just finding at the moment it seems to not be liking this music that we're putting underneath. So have a go at that. Another big one as well on TikTok is it always was like 40 seconds, 50 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds. It's got to be snappy. TikTok is allowing you to do a lot longer form content, 10 minutes even, and longer. So go long. You know, like these videos we're going to put out, we stick them out as long form content on TikTok. Again, we find sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So just have a go at testing some of the longer stuff, and don't be frightened to think, oh, that's too long for TikTok. It's not anymore. Stick it out, because TikTok, again, is liking that sort of stuff. So there you go, bit of an update, because everyone was coming to us saying and talking to us about TikTok in terms of video. So we wanted to do a bit more of a deep dive, some tips for you, just to hopefully help you out.